Heat Nuggets game 1. The Nuggets are favored by 8.5. The series is minus 500 for the Denver Nuggets. I think it's one of the biggest disparities in like 20-something years. Like, that's how big the Nuggets are favored in this series. And what's funny is that people still aren't giving the Heat credit. They were major underdogs against the Bucks. When they beat them in 5, they were major underdogs against the Knicks. They beat them in 6. They were huge underdogs against the Celtics. They beat them in 7. They should have beat them in like 4 or 5, let's be real. And now they're major underdogs against the Nuggets? Does that make sense? I think it does. I think it does. I'll say this right now. I picked against the Heat I picked the Heat to beat the Hawks. They lost to the Hawks, so I got a little bit sour about it, and it made sense to pick the Bucks against them. I wanted to see the Knicks move on. I thought it was a great story, so I picked the Knicks against them. The Celtics are the deepest team in the NBA and the more talented team in the NBA. I picked them to beat the Heat. So the only time I picked the Heat, they lost. Every time I picked against the Heat, they won. A little bit tough. However, I'm going to pick against the Heat again. No, honestly, people were questioning this in the comments. Who's going to stop Nikola Jokic? You want Bam to stop Jokic? Bam, look at Bam's figure compared to Jokic's. Jokic is a moving tank. There's no stopping him. So based on that, and first of all, Jamal Murray and Jimmy Butler, I think will go head to head, 1-for-1. So that's that matchup right there. I'll consider, maybe it's not exactly even, but it's even enough for me to make this comparison. Who's even with Nikola Jokic? You can't say Bam. Bam doesn't have the skill set and talent that Nikola Jokic possesses. Kevin Love? Walking mummified fossil Kevin Love? Caleb Martin? No, none of these players can go one-on-one or to match up evenly with Nikola Jokic. So once again, I said this in the Suns series with the Nuggets. It's going to be about role players. Because the stars in the playoffs, no matter who it is, they generally link up pretty well one-on-one. It's all about the supporting cast that needs to step up to get the wins. The Heat did that. The Celtics, they had a tough time role player-wise to hit the shots. So it was obvious when Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, you also had Max Strus, they were hitting shots. Yeah, it made sense the Celtics were down 3-0 at one point in the series. In this one, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Because can the Nuggets with Bruce Brown and KCP, can players like that step up for the Nuggets to go one-on-one, to go evenly compared to a Max Strus or a Caleb Martin, a Duncan Robinson, even a Kyle Lowry who comes off the bench? Tyler Hero will apparently be available by Game 3. What's the series going to look like in Game 3? The Nuggets have never lost a home game. The Heat have won, I believe, 6 straight Game 1s or something like that? I'm going to pick the Nuggets to win the series in 6. And this is why. I think, honestly, the rest would be pretty good for the Nuggets. People saying, oh, is the rust and rest really significant in damaging a team's, movement and momentum? That could be. However, I will say this. When you just played a 7-game series and a 6-game series and a 5-game series, and you had to try way more because you were an inferior team on paper to literally every other team you played, yeah, you're going to be tired most likely as you go down that series, as you go down each series. And now you have to play against a very physical, very dominant, very explosive, very technically sound Denver Nuggets team. So, if this series goes the distance, I have no doubt in my mind the Nuggets will get this done. Because I think, honestly, the Heat will be exhausted. Could we see what happened in the bubble year where it was literally Jimmy Butler or bust in Game 1? You saw him panting and he couldn't catch a breath. Could we see that Jimmy Butler? Maybe if he really needs to be Jimmy Butler. But we haven't seen that type of Jimmy Butler since the first series. Honestly, he's averaged about, 24, 25 points? We haven't seen him drop 35, 36, 40. damn near 50. We haven't seen that since the first series against the Bucks. Nikola Jokic is a walking triple-double. I don't see anyone stopping that from happening. Jamal Murray, I think he'll have his moments. And by the way, Aaron Gordon, he's a great wing defender. I hate to break it to you. He's a great defender. He's probably going to go up against Jimmy Butler. I think that'll cause problems for Jimmy Butler. And if it's not Jimmy Butler, we're going to need to have another Caleb Martin, virtuoso performance. Or Gabe Vincent might need to drop 29 again. Duncan Robinson may need to hit 4, 5, 6 threes in the game for them to have a chance if Jimmy Butler is getting locked down. That's the truth of it. So that's what I would do. I would pick the Nuggets in 6. I do think that is a good pick. I don't think they should be as big underdogs as they are, the Miami Heat. I think they need to get a little bit more respect. I think they're getting beyond disrespected. I mean, this is just terrible. And so I think, honestly, Nuggets are going to go into game 1. Now, would I be shocked if they lose game 1? Absolutely not. Because maybe the rest and the rust of being off for 9, 10 days, it may affect them more than I'm thinking. However, I do think the Heat will be tired after 48 hours of playing a game 7. Now, if it went down to the wire in game 7, I would feel better about game 1. If it went to overtime, maybe, or if it just went down to the absolute wire and it was a very hard-fought game for the Heat. In game 7, I would be more confident in game 1. However, I will still pick the Nuggets because they're still undefeated at home. So I'll pick them. They're minus 8.5. I'll pick the Heat plus 8.5, but I'll take the Nuggets money line for them to win. So that is my pick of the series of game 1. I think the Nuggets win 111 to 106. That's my pick. It's a 5-point win for the Nuggets. Nuggets take game 1. They win in 6. I could see them losing game 2, maybe, but we'll see. I mean, ratings-wise, I don't think this is the true storyline. I think storyline-wise, the 76ers Nuggets would have been good. Lakers, Celtics, that obviously would have been good. But, we can't get the best storyline. We got the Nuggets and the Heat. This could be a good story depending on how this plays out. If Nikola Jokic, gets hurt, God forbid, or just doesn't show up to the stands. If Jamal Murray has a phenomenal game, if he drops like 35 points, we'll have to wait and see. Tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. on ABC, the NBA Finals. Game 1 is tomorrow. I cannot wait to see exactly what Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat have to do, or how they're matched up against the Denver Nuggets, but we will see tomorrow. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.